So first round of the Mitre 10 Cup is all done and dusted. There were 7 games, and all but one of the home teams had victories in this week, so there was a bit of a pattern there. A lot of close games as well, so it made for some entertaining rugby. I didn't watch all the games in full. I've seen all the games in part. A couple of them in full, a couple of them like half a game. I watched all the highlights, so yeah, fairly up with the play on how things went, but definitely keen to hear you guys' feedback on who you thought did well and who you thought struggled. It's a good competition that it's Thursday through Sunday, so they kind of spread the rugby out over the week. Not all the games clash with the kind of international ones, and they bring the Saturday ones kind of early into the afternoon, so you don't have to pick and choose which one you're going to watch. But yeah, some of the crowds, I'll get to that in a minute. So we'll have a look at the first one. North Harbour beat Northland 21 points to 20. Scrappy game on Thursday. Both teams looked, especially North Harbour in the first half, looked a bit kind of like it's their first game of the season, which I guess is to kind of be expected. Bryn Gatland, he's kind of a bit part player at Super Rugby level, but he's pretty much got the #1 job at North Harbour. Didn't have his best first half. The guy's kicking boot was just erratic, to say the least, but credit to the guy. He got a match-winning kick towards the end to put North Harbour in front, and yeah, they ended up winning it. Rene Ranger was always an entertaining guy back when he was at the Blues. Same at Northland. He had an interesting game, and he had a few big runs. Jack Debrasini from the Rebels, who's playing for Northland this year, also made good use of his big boot. So we'll see if they can get some more kind of possession going forward, because yeah, that was one area they kind of struggled with in this game. Second game, the repeat of the final from last year, except the venue was reversed. Tasman beat Canterbury 25 points to 17. It was a weird game to watch because I'm not used to Canterbury, and I put a tweet out about this, just being under the pump for so long in this game. They were just, yeah, being dominated. Didn't have any ball. They were having to exit like every time they would turn it over in defence, and they were just, yeah, under so much pressure. And it looked like Tasman were going to win it really comfortably, but Canterbury, in true Canterbury fashion, did score a couple of tries kind of late on to bring the scoreline a bit more kind of in range, but still not quite enough. Good performances from guys like Makaleo, who plays for the Crusaders, and Pleasance Tate, who plays for the Highlanders. So yeah, that was interesting and kind of upset, I guess. But I mean, Tasman's a strong team, so I'm not sure what the odds were before that game. But if any team's going to beat Canterbury, Tasman at Tasman is probably going to be one of those times. Third game was Manawatu against Waikato. 24 points to 19 to Manawatu to take this one out. Waikato took an early lead. Manawatu pegged them back. Then Manawatu went in the lead. Waikato pegged them back. And then Manawatu kind of took the final lead out in like the 74th minute. So in terms of spectacle, it was a pretty good game. Niki Milner-Skata got through this game without injury. So, like, if you're an All Blacks fan, there's something to be happy there. Junior, was it Laloife, the fullback from Manawatu? That guy has got gas, so that was that was one interesting to see. He scored one really good try. But yeah, overall pretty good game. Manawatu, another home team to get the win. Next one, Auckland beat Counties 23-19 at Eden Park. There was a schoolboy game before this one, which had a way bigger crowd than what stayed around for the Mitre 10 Cup, which was a bit of a sad state of affairs that people don't want to hang around to watch the Auckland game. I don't know what to say. It is a third-tier competition, and Auckland's a place that's going to get All Blacks, it's going to get Super Rugby, and now it's getting Mitre 10, so the crowd is never going to be kind of what it is. I mean, it's hardly fantastic for Blues games. It's okay for a team that doesn't do that well, but yeah, there's a lot of boys at the schoolboy game, so go figure. There was a lot of niggle in this game, so I mean, geographically, Auckland and Counties are kind of on the border with each other. Counties being the area south of Auckland, so there's always going to be a bit of niggle between these two teams, and it showed. Counties forwards were getting some good pace, some good go forward in the maul. The Auckland guys did a bit of forward work themselves. Blake Gibson got a good try, and a bit of magic from the backs as well, so a bit of contrast there. But yeah, close game. Good for Auckland to get a win because last year they really struggled. The next one, Bay of Plenty beat Taranaki 30 points to 10. This may be the result of the round for me, because that Taranaki side, there's it's not quite a Super Rugby team, but there's a lot of guys. They're not maybe first kind of names that you would pick when you're picking a Super Rugby team, but they're all regulars. Like Perifeta, who plays for the Blues, he was more or less the first choice number 10 for the Blues for much of that season. Angus Ta'avao plays for the Chiefs. He had a really good season. Was often starting. Ricky Riccatelli started pretty much the whole season for the Hurricanes. Tamani Valu for the Crusaders. Tay Walden for the Highlanders. So you got guys from all the Super Rugby teams from New Zealand, all in this Taranaki squad. They look like they're going to be a super team, but they struggled. They looked off in this game. Bay of Plenty did really well. So credit to them. Like I said, big win, 30 points to 10 over a strong-looking Taranaki side is a big result. Taranaki have got a Shield challenge next week. Obviously, they're away from home this week, so don't have to worry about Ranfurly Shield. But next week, they've got a Shield challenge, so they're going to have to up their game for sure. Next one was Wellington over Otago, 34 points to 16. Pretty comfortable. Wellington, couple of tries earlier, looked like it was going to be an absolute hiding, but game kind of slowed down a bit as things went on. Otago got a try in the second half, kind of put themselves back in the contest, but never really looked like beating a pretty strong-looking Wellington team who's bounced back from being in kind of the lower level from not that long ago. So, yeah, Wellington look like they're going to be good this year. You got guys like Umaga Jensen, you got Hussein. Hussein's got crazy gas as well. Fafita, all these guys, very big names, so we'll see how they go. I was picking Otago to win the championship, so that the second kind of level of Mitre 10 Cup this year. It's only one game, but yeah, they were definitely a cup below where Wellington was at for this one. Final game, the only home team to lose was Southland, who lost 31 points to 10 against Hawke's Bay. To be fair, I look at that Hawke's Bay squad. You got Brad Weber, you got Ash Dixon, Tion Falcon, who's kind of third choice number 10 for the Chiefs, but you know who he is. Allardyce, there's a lot of guys who are pretty familiar names if you follow Super Rugby or following the New Zealand teams. Southland, I admit I do not know most of these guys. You guys will have to educate me on who I should be looking out for, but yeah, that was... I know Southland, according to the TAB, are the least likely team to do anything this year, and perhaps it shows. There was one point in this game where Southland had a two-man advantage with Hawke's Bay with two guys in the bin with yellow cards for over 5 minutes and couldn't score any points. So it could be a long season for the boys from the south. Still early days, so we will see. There's still lots to change for next week. I will put the fixtures for next week in the description so you guys can have a look. There's a few good ones to look forward to, I would say, especially Taranaki hosting Manawatu for the Ranfurly Shield. Should be a big game because Manawatu obviously got a win here. Whether they can go to Taranaki and take the Shield will be an interesting one to watch. Canterbury, Wellington, these are two teams with a lot of big name players. Two kind of the favourites for the Premiership title this year, so that's going to be an interesting clash. And also you'd have to say Northland against Auckland is kind of a rivalry, so it's... This week was Auckland against the team who's geographically to the south. Next week is the team to the north. So again, it should be a bit of niggle. There should be a bit of, not biffo, but perhaps a bit of heart in that game. So it should be a good one. You guys let me know what you thought of the games. Standout players, like I said, I didn't see every minute of every game. So I'm definitely missing out on some young guys who are coming through, I'm sure. But you guys let me know what you thought. And yeah, I'll talk to you again for the next one soon. See you later.